So there's a couple of videos even from the day before yesterday that were recorded on here that I haven't had the chance to get up. I'm trying to keep up by having some dual recording going on as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to go to AnyLogic and I would like you to close all your models. In AnyLogic, you could do this through the file. You can also do it through by right-clicking project area and projects. So this morning, our query is none other than exposure to GIS and geographically routed data. Would I be able to have some? Thanks. Yeah. Just cold water from there. That's great. Thanks a ton. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to build a GIS-enabled model here. The GIS interface in AnyLogic has been evolving quickly, and it has been evolving in a better way. Cheryl was at the bleeding edge of GIS 5 years ago or 6 years ago, importing shape files, and it was to put it charitably, the essence of finicky in terms of importing shape files, and it was not an easy prospect. But today the situation is much changed, and so we're going to create a new model. Hey Scott, check this out. There's a little light bulb sitting up here, kind of. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay. File, new model, and this is going to be called beginning GIS food environment. And one of the key decisions about models that you want to be careful of is the model time units. Now, I argued before that AnyLogic uses continuous time. This is not specifying a time step like you will see in NetLogo or you will see in Repass traditionally, where you're specifying sort of, or in System Dynamics packages, where you're trying to figure out how far the model jumps forward every time unit, every tick. Is it a month or a day? This is actually just a yardstick for measuring time, but it has import because it turns out that if you're not careful to select this early on, what happens is this becomes the default. Whatever you choose here becomes the default in terms of impacting the time unit used by default as the update time for things like charts, okay, in AnyLogic, or for things like data sets in AnyLogic. So if you forget to change this from seconds and you make it day, and you go and you add a couple charts to your model and things will be good, and you go add some data sets, as we'll be seeing, and then you realize, oh, okay, wait a minute, I want the time unit to be days. And you go back and you change that by going to the project and selecting time unit days. There's still going to be these charts there, which are probably, they're by default in updating every second. And now you've got it in days or years as your time unit. And you've got these charts which are trying to update every second. And your model will be slow as molasses. In computer science, the term for it is sometimes pig dog slow. And it will be, you'll be wondering, what's wrong with my model? What have I done wrong? What's wrong with my dynamics? You may be going and searching to say I have to send fewer messages, or maybe the population size is too high, and it's all because of a few stinking charts and sort of data sets that are updating every second, and it's disconcerting because those should be epiphenomenal portions of your model. Those should be pieces of your model that really don't affect the governing processes in the model, but they have a disproportionate bearing on performance. So this does matter, and if you forget to change it, I'm going to leave it at, don't do this. Well, okay, you can do it if you want to, but I would choose it as days here, but let me show how I'd correct it. So I forget to correct it. And then when I say, okay, I go correct it immediately. Don't leave this till later. You click up here before I add anything else to the model. I'm going to choose it as days. Okay, model time unit days. Be advised. Pick it early. Try to pick it in that opening screen. If you don't, pick it as soon as you can here. And if you've added anything since then, go and check, because it'll be the default time unit for things like the hazard rates associated with rate transitions. There'll be a default, hazard rate of 1 per second. It'll be for the timeouts. It'll be in the default timeout will be 1 second. It's nuts. It will in the most unseemly way, place its tentacles through your model. So you want to change it early. Okay, make sure that it's the right time unit. Not because the yardstick matters in some deep sense, but because of this practicality that the defaults use the time unit that's specified for their sort of default assumptions. Okay.
Question on that, Nate. If you change it afterwards, so say you go back to an established model and you change it there, does that change it any other place? Or
No.
Okay, so that's probably a good thing.
Depends how you look at it.
Or it could be a really annoying thing if you wanted to mask it. Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is that it is important if you do have system dynamics elements in your model, because
That's right. System dynamics, yeah.
If there's system dynamics anywhere in your model, that's generally what it's going to force your model time unit to be there. So, like for example, I could have, I have a project where the model has quite a bit of system dynamics that has agents, and just changing the lately time unit from minutes to hours increased the speed of the model from taking 30 minutes to run a month to about a minute. So, it can have some drastic implications.
Yeah, and part of that is because the numerical methods, they specify here sort of the size of the time, in system dynamics, sort of the time steps that are these kind of, system dynamics jumping like that. Now, probably yours won't make that same sound or be quite as entertaining, but the model will be jumping forward for time to time to time. And this expresses relative to the time unit, sort of the size of those jumps. Okay? So if the time unit was 1 year, this would be, about a third of the day or something, about 8 hours. But if the time unit is 1 day, this is going to be performing that integration time step. For me, that's a meaningful sort of concept, hundreds and hundreds of times a day. And that's going to be much slower. So just be aware that I like Scott's point there, and I actually hadn't considered that. These things are relative to the time unit. And so in agent-based modeling and discrete event modeling, where we're using continuous time, events happen as fast as they need to, like when there's a flurry of activity, and then you may have long periods between times. It's a different story than with system dynamics, where, as I had noted earlier, there is this kind of fixed time steps associated with it. Okay, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a diversion, but again, pick your model time unit carefully. If your model's super slow, suspect, you might want to think, did I change my time unit? Was I careful in choosing my time unit early on? We have tools in computer science known as profilers that will actually peer into your model and say, what's taking it so long? Where is it spending its time? And for those who are interested, I have videos showing me use those tools with AnyLogic. But one of the big culprits is this issue of you were careless with your time unit. You later changed it, but only after it had been sort of used by a bunch of features of your model. Okay. Anyway, there we go. So you have this, make sure the time unit is days, okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create here a new class called Home, capital H-O-M-E. Okay. And we're going to say finish. And now we're going to go to Home. Here's Home. I know you wish you wish you were home. But we'll try to make you feel at home. Okay. So we're going to go to Palette. This is your home away from home. We're going to go to Palette, and we're going to go down to Pictures, and we are going to drag in a little house here. Okay. Okay. Now, we're going to engage in a similar sort of shrinkage of this to what we did yesterday. So the scale X and scale Y would be 0.5. Oh, who needs SOTAs? So I'm going to make this 0.5 as the size of this, because I don't want the houses to overshadow the size of the map. Okay, 0.5 and 0.5. Great. Okay, next I would like to mumble. Could you get Merlin and just tell him the oh, here we go, I got it back. Basically this monitor keeps on having those issues. Okay, next, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to create mumble. Okay, I'd like you to go create a convenience store. New agent type convenience store with a capital C. Now you notice, I haven't dwelt on it, but you notice some options here, and one of them is use a database table to create these agents. So to basically use characteristics in a database to determine what are the features of the agents in terms of parameters, and then we can have agent populations which are created from a database. So suppose you have a database of administrative data, and you have people's birth years and then administrative data on a population-wide basis for a province. You could instantiate an agent population with that data. Or if you have synthetic data from Virginia Tech, the Virginia Biotechnology Institute, where they put out these synthetic databases for the U.S. population, you could read in features from there, create agents based on that agent agent characteristics, and read them in their characteristics from there. So we just had a convenience store, so we're going to go there, and we are going to add from our pictures palette, we're going to add a retailer here, store. And we're going to, again, set the scale X to be 0.5 and the scale Y to be 0.5. Okay? Okay. That's great. Okay, now, we're going to now take this a very different direction. So we already have something a little bit new. Yesterday we saw persons and cities. Now we're going to have homes and convenience stores. But now we're going to take this a different direction. One that'll be distinctively hearkening to the GIS focus of this model. Okay, I'd like you to go to main. And ladies and gentlemen, we need, Aiden, I'd like you to summon the Phalanx. Okay, have them march into the room. We're going to now, for the next 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to need, and maybe less, maybe it'll be as short as half an hour, we will need to we'll need to be very careful about what we do, okay? GIS is a little bit tricky in the sense, the interface is a little bit tricky in the sense that you need to be careful where you're clicking. You need to follow very carefully along what I'm doing until we create the first sort of set of objects from the GIS components. The thing that adds texture to it is it's a little bit different on Mac and PC with respect to some of the details of the interface. I'm going to try to clue you into that. But the TAs can help. It's just be sure to raise your hand when you're thrown off, and be sure to watch what's up on the board here, okay? I don't mean to overly dramatize it. It's not horrible. It's just it takes a lot of detailed attention to get past this next little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go to main, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to the Markup Palette, which is this guy here, okay? It's this guy just below the Platonic objects, the presentation. It's this Markup Palette. And we're going to drag in a GIS map into our model, okay? So where did I go? Whither did I go? I went and I opened up the palette. I went down to this one that says markup. Now, let me tell you something. Sometimes you will see that this palette is missing some of these ones here. If you get in that situation, you can always choose which are displayed here. For example, I could make my space markup disappear here, and if it's missing, I could come back and I say, oh, it's not selected. I'm going to click on it, and now it will be placed back in the palette. This looks like kind of a lasso with two additional ropes attached to it. So yeah, it's kind of like a loop with 3 ropes sticking out of it. Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you have a map dragged in? Okay, who needs help? Okay. Okay. Who else needs help? Okay. So sector 3, front. Who else needs help? Okay. Okay. The Phalanx has arrived. This is great. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, mark my words. I'd like you to double-click on the map. Okay, now, this next little bit, when you double-click, you should see a little thing appear up here in the upper left. Do you see that? Okay. This next little bit is going to be a little bit tricky as far as the Mac is concerned. Now, now I'm going to do this out of memory, but is there? I'm hoping that there's a TA with a lot of Mac experience here. Okay. Okay. So, ladies, a box occurred here in the upper left. I would like to go to that box and click in it. Now, on the Mac, I thought that you sometimes had to right-click on the box to get this point region selection option. That may have changed in 7.3.5. Are there Mac users here? It does not now.
For me.
Okay, good, good. Because there was an issue with Macs requiring some extra keystrokes. Okay, or clicks. Okay, so I'd like to choose region here. Region, okay? So the idea here is we can search for something that's treated as a point feature. It might be a store, or it might be a park, or excuse me, not a park, a store, or it might be a monument or whatever. Or we could search for a region, which is actually a geographically fenced piece of real estate where it actually knows the sort of surrounding polygon. Okay, so we're going to choose region, and we're now going to search for, and I know you'd like to search for your own home areas, but I'd ask for the sake of making this converge and for the sake of having comparable things going on, I'd like to search for Saskatoon here, okay? And fortunately, we have a fairly distinctive name in our city, one that sometimes even makes people giggle. And we can press this search button. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I know why. Yeah, no, I know why.
That's awesome.
Okay, so well, I'll be. There's a Saskatoon Golf Club in Michigan. Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate their taste, but there's a reason we're not seeing this. Okay. I'm going to turn lemon into lemonade. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a lesson learned. Saskatoon is not on this map, and because it's not on the map, it's not actually finding it. When we search, we're searching for things that are visible on the map. So, let us do the following. Let us do escape. Okay, actually, we could just click on the map again. And now you should be able to drag around this map. Okay? You should be able to drag. Now, on occasion, students get in a difficult situation where the map starts dragging. Notice I'm dragging around. It's panning around, as we say, within the map. But sometimes students get in this wedged state where they start going like this, and the map is moving, and that's not what they want. If you see that, just double-click on the map again, and then you should be able to frob it in the manner of my choosing. Okay? If you get in a situation where the whole map is dragging around rather than panning around in the map, just double-click on it again. Are we okay with that? So, for those for whom geography is Canadian geography was not among your classroom education, Saskatoon is located somewhere around the top of this O. Maybe it's near the middle of the O. No, it's right. Yeah. Anyway, so just make sure you see the whole O of North America. Okay.
I'll look for some of the computers there is no O.
Actually, the map is different from yours.
Oh,
I can
okay.
tell you why, too.
Just make sure North America is shown. You may think otherwise, but Saskatoon is not up here or anything. So just make sure. So when I first moved to Saskatoon, I had a friend who said, I'm really concerned about you going to Saskatoon. I said, well, why? Why? She said, well, I'm concerned. Is it going to be able to survive? And I said, well, why are you concerned? She said, well, does anything grow there? She thought it was, barren wastes with nothing but tundra year-round or something like that.
No, that's like an hour north of here.
I reassured her that it was Canada's breadbasket, and she was really. Someone else asked another colleague if there's any buildings here.
Depends. Above or underground?
Yeah, there was a cruel Canadian show several years back called Talking to Americans, and one of its episodes, they went to a city in U.S. and they told people we're fundraising for the legislative building of Canada. We're trying to raise money for the National Igloo of Canada, which is our legislative building, the equivalent of the U.S. Capitol, and we'd like you to donate for the National Igloo of Canada. And they had some conversations which clearly suggested people believed it. They said it's going to be melting because of climate change. So we have to renovate it. Anyway,
Please dry eyes.
moving right along. So if you search here, what you'll find now is there's Saskatoon.
So I don't get that. I get a place in Deutschland.
That's what I'm getting too.
Okay, is this visible here? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm getting
In Deutschland.
Saskatoon and Deutschland.
Okay.
By the way, you can give more specification. So if anyone types in Saskatoon, space Saskatchewan, it will find it even if it's not shown on the map.
Oh, good. Okay, that's great to know.
Basically, the idea is that the first thing it does is I think it tries to find a match in the visible area of the map. If it doesn't, it will then search like everything, I think, is what's doing.
Great.
By the way, the reason that the tiles don't look the same is because you must have cached MapQuest, okay? Because you have the top right of MapQuest there.
Well, this is 734. They have 735.
Well, the reason is because
Yeah, MapQuest was the default provider.
Yeah, and they're no
They're
longer
longer
free.
the default provider. Yeah.
Well, they're no longer free. They're
Yeah. So if you wanted to see what yours looks like, is it an OSM Classic?
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what ours looks like.
Okay. Okay. So it's OSM Classic. So I'll switch to OSM Classic. You notice that with this map, you have a lot of options, including the routing server, the tile provider, and so on. I'll switch to OSM Classic, so it's more similar to you.
I think it's AnyLogic.
Yeah, ours is AnyLogic OSM.
Oh, AnyLogic OSM. Okay, I don't have that. I don't have that option here. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we search, and what we're going to do now is we are going to. If you have found this, has everyone found Saskatoon? I mean, not only to get here, but to on the map. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is go and I'm just looking at Mac specific things. Okay, I'd like you to right-click on the appropriate entry, not Saskatoon and Deutschland, but Saskatoon here, and I'd like to select. You'll notice that this little pop-up menu comes up, and I'd like to go to convert to GIS point regions, okay? GIS point regions, okay? Okay. There, ladies and gentlemen, okay, so having done that, so you should have right-clicked and did convert. It should be grayed out now. Okay? See, it's grayed out? Okay. Now, I would like to zoom in to this area. And for this, your mice will be key. Subya. Okay? You're going to want your subya. So I'm zooming in to Saskatchewan. How am I doing this? I'm actually doing it. I'm actually not in possession of a working mouse right now. So I'm doing it with Shift. I'm doing it with the plus key, basically. Shifting key, so it can be. I can press plus. You can do it if you're in numlock mode, or you can do it with the plus and minus as well. So here's Saskatoon. Do you see that? Okay, so I'd like you to zoom it in, and actually zoom it in fairly far so that Saskatoon's as large on the computer as it does in life. Okay? Okay, so there's Saskatoon. Do you see that? Okay? Okay. Who needs a little bit more time? I was doing plus and minus on my numeric keyboard to kind of zoom in and zoom out. Yeah. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is great. You'll notice it's a little bit flaky. Sometimes this region isn't obvious in it when I zoomed out and zoomed back in. Sometimes it doesn't draw. In which case, if I go like this and come back, you see that, Scott?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we want this to appear basically in the area here. We'd like to zoom things and kind of arrange things so the whole of Saskatoon, the wholeness of Saskatoon is visible. Okay. Okay. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to being done, or we're a lot of the way through the finicky part. Okay, here. So next, I would like to do the following. Double click on the map to see the search box. Okay, again, and I guess this is already showing the search box. so you don't have to double click on it, but you could do so. And now I'd like you to search for, okay, now I'd like you to search for convenience store as a point. I'm going to search for this store as a point. I don't need to know its sinister sort of profile. I just need to know about it as a point. Okay, convenience store. Okay, it's a convenience store as a point. Okay. Break, Jeff? You're thinking?
No.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of inconvenience.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, convenience store. So I'm typing that here. Now, the key thing is, as Scott said, I like Scott's clarification and appreciate it, that this is probably going to just be searching at what's visible initially, but if you said, convenience store in Deutschland or something, maybe it would look there off this map. So I'm going to say convenience store, and now it found a whole swack of convenience stores, some of which are probably unfortunately familiar to many people here. Okay. Okay. So you should see something like this. Okay. Okay. So do you see something like this? Oh. Uh-oh. Now I'm in a pickle. Okay. Great. So what I would like you to do now is to go select several of these convenience stores, okay? Okay. I'd like you to select these convenience stores, but I would like you to choose no more than 10 to select, okay? So only 10 of them. So if you go down here, you could select 10 of them. Now, you could do so with your mouse. For example, I'm holding down my control button and clicking on the convenience stores here. Okay, and I can select many of them like that, not necessarily contiguous. So I've selected 5 so far. I'm going to select another one, another set, and I'd like to select a total of 10 here. Okay. 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 What's that? So I'm trying to select 10 of them. Tell me when you're ready to have selected 10. Okay? Okay. Once you have 10 of them, ladies and gentlemen, so right now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to select another Max and a 7-Eleven in Nutana. Okay? There we go. And now, once I've selected those, I'd like you to right-click, so no more than 10 for the PLE. I'd like you to right-click, and this is a key thing, ladies and gentlemen. I would like you, instead of, please note, this is arguably the most tricky step. Instead of converting, so I right-clicked on them, and I said, instead of converting to GIS point regions, I'd like you to do create agents at selected elements. And I'd like you to select convenience store. Do you see that? Okay, who needs TA help?
How many you select?
10. Okay? And once we do that, something should happen. What has happened visually, ladies and gentlemen? Can you see? Well, the ones I selected should now have these little things underneath them. Do you see that? Okay. Who needs TA help? Okay, TA's Sector 3, red alert. Okay, who else needs help? Okay, there's large deployment. Okay, who else needs help? Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next I would like to do something similar. Actually, sorry. First, we're going to go explore the implications of that. So we're going to leave the confines GIS map for the moment. Oh my gosh, okay. And we're going to go over here to the left. And what you should see is a list of convenience stores to the left of the map. Do you see that? Okay, I'd like you to click outside the map. Now you're outside. The map is no longer captured. Okay, so sector 3, Arash, behind you. Okay. Okay. Sector 3 remains active. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Does anyone want a bit more time? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, Tina, maybe you could check this out because you have more GIS experience. The Kings are absent right now. Okay. And the Queen won't arrive till tomorrow. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after you've done that, once you selected these, you right-clicked, you did Create Agents, Convenience Store. There should be a set of things over here to the left. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. For those, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to select them. Okay? Okay? Select them with a sort of by drawing a little box around them. Okay? Okay. I didn't wait just to show you the next step. Wade and Iden, just to show you this next step. Once you've done that, there, and then you're going to select them, and you are going to right-click on them, and you'll do Create Collection. Okay, and you will call this Convenience Store Collection. Okay, so this collection will be called Convenience Store Collection.
How did you do?
Sorry?
How did you just do?
So, again, I selected them, and then I right-clicked, and I said Create Collection, and I said Convenience Store Collection. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so this is a convenience store collection. You'll notice if you look at that convenience store collection, ladies and gentlemen, if you go look at it, what you'll find is that in the advanced area, it shows the particular stores that are of which it is that composite, of which it is composed. And you'll also notice, if you wanted to explore these at all, these ones, you'll notice that they're adapted to GIS. So, for example, it says initial location, place it at agent location, and this is actually a sort of GIS familiar environment. But here, basically, it knows where its location is. Okay. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and you notice it says routing. You can choose. Well, okay. Yep. Oh, I just clicked on this. I just was showing you while these folks are catching up. Yeah, one of the agents. Yeah. Okay, so these are particular agents. These aren't populations. These are specific agents. Each of these represents a specific convenience store, and this is the collection of them. Okay. Unfortunately, AnyLogic doesn't have a super nice way of collating a population of these agents. Instead, you create a collection of these agents. Okay. Next, I would like you to take these, and I would like you to move them to the left some. Okay, just so we remove them a little bit further, because we're going to do a search now for supermarkets, and that's going to use that same space by default. I don't want them to land on top of each other. It'll be confusing. Okay, who needs TA help? The TAs are active. Are there TAs lounging out there? Or are they,
I saw King.
sorry?
I saw King get the great drop.
Oh, the king is there?
Yes.
Okay, okay, the king can remain in his court for the moment until we need him. Where's the king located now? Just there? Okay, okay, we'll, okay. He's in his kingdom? Okay, that's great. Yes, Chris?
Just a quick question. So after you created the community store collection, was that the last thing you did?
No, the final thing I did was I selected all of those and I shifted them over because this same space is going to be, AnyLogic's not too intelligent. When you search for a bunch of things and say create, it'll put them in this space next to you. I just didn't want it to be mixed all together. So these are our convenience stores here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, next, I would like you to go back to the map. I would like you to double click on it. And I would like to search for supermarket. Okay, supermarket. Okay. And now I'd like to press search. Okay, and
So we don't need a separate agent class for
we have one. No, oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, okay, sorry, thank you. Okay, we'll come back to this. Here's a bunch of supermarkets, but we can't create them as classes. Thank you. You're right, I was thinking we created that before. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so next we're going to go over to the left-hand side. We're going to do new agent type, and we're going to say grocery store. Maybe we'll. I'm inconvenient whether, inconvenient. I'm inconsistent whether I call it supermarket or grocery store. Which do you folks prefer? Supermarket. Okay, let's call it supermarket then. Supermarket. That's great. Okay. The point is, this is a store that has fresh fruits and vegetables, not merely screaming yellow zonkers and floaters. and corn dogs, and I believe Cheryl mentioned pizza pops or something like that. Pizza, what was it, Cheryl? Pizza pockets, or you said last year you characterized some of the contents of convenience stores.
Hot pockets.
Pizza pocket?
Hot
Hot pockets. Okay. Finish. Okay.
Do we need an icon?
Yes, we're going to go put an icon in there. And unfortunately, we're spared in this example some of the contention that comes into our others. We're going to go down to pictures. When we do this with doctors' offices, there can be philosophical differences that come out about whether to use the retail store icon or the warehouse icon or the factory icon. Here we're going to use, for a supermarket, we'll use a warehouse. Okay? We'll drag it in for our warehouse. Okay. Now, we're almost past the trickiest part here, and we're going to take a break within minutes.
Do we want to scale it again?
No, we'll keep this one larger because they tend to be larger stores. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go back to main, go back down main, double click on the map so that such that the search region is visible. And we're going to search for supermarket. And we're going to press this. And you'll notice that this GIS search result should show. If it doesn't for some reason, again, you can do view GIS search results so that window is visible. And once again, we're going to take 10 of these. Okay? Okay. You notice there's quite a few of these, quite a few, and they're of different, rather different types. But we'll take the first 10, I'll say. Okay. But if you want to choose a different 10, that's fine. And now I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say convert agent, or create agents, rather, at selected elements. And what sort of agent am I going to create? People? Supermarket, indeed. So there we go. So now it's put that. And now we want to turn those into a collection. How do we do that? We select them and make sure they're selected. And now we're going to right-click after they're selected. Select them like this. After they're selected, we're going to say create collection. And this will be called supermarket collection. Okay? Great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So now I'd like you to go to projects. Well, okay. Are people need a bit more time? Okay with that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of the woods. So let's right click on simulation main. Let's right click on the experiment here and run it, and there you will see a map of Saskatoon along with the specifics. Now you'll notice it takes a bit of time for it to load. I don't know if you saw that, but there it's loading it in, the information in from servers. And here we have grocery stores, and here we have convenience stores placed. Okay, do you see that? Okay. So that much is good. Let's just go back to this and go click on this map one time, and just let's browse some of the options, ladies and gentlemen. You'll notice with tiles, we have a choice of several tile providers, what sort of style we want. So for example, I could choose MapQuest Satellite, and each of these will have typically differ from each other in some ways, if the imagery or the type of the imagery. Here I'm doing it with it's saying the MapQuest one is not available. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, it's MapQuest Satellite. Yeah, I'll say Landsat. Sorry, I shouldn't have said MapQuest. I know their terms and conditions have changed, so I'm going to say Landsat, which is the US satellites, imaging satellites for, I think, for land use, etc. And now you notice that it's a little bit different. I'm going to run it here, and here it is. And now if I run this, I'm going to load it in from the servers, which are going to be different from the ones that were the default. So here's a Landsat image superimposed on Saskatoon. Okay, showing different types of land use or what have you, and you can kind of scroll around and see things. Okay, great. So I'm going to switch that back to the OSM Classic, to the default one. For you could just switch it back to default. You notice there's a routing server. We can determine how routes are determined, and this will help figure out, okay, what's the shortest route between point A and point B, or what's the fastest route between A and B. We can choose which one we want to use, and we can choose on what sort of routes do we want it to reason about. Rail, bike, foot, etc. So do we want to reason about sort of bike paths or car or what have you. And you notice it says if route not found, you can create a straight route or show an error. You can import shape files here, and then there's some specific about its sort of location and appearance, etc. So there's a fair bit of stuff that's used here. You notice that you can use routes of your choosing from these GIS type files. or you could use straight line routes if you're dealing with like bird flight or what have you. Okay, that's important. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the final thing we're going to do here is the following. Okay. Actually, maybe we'll leave this. I promised you a break. This is going to take a little bit of time. So why don't we take our break now? Come back here in about 5 minutes, and we'll then place homes within the city at scattered places. Okay. That will take a little bit of additional mechanism, but will also be pretty straightforward. Okay, see you in about 5 minutes then. Yeah.
Daniel, I was wondering if you would cover budding models.
Budding models, yeah. We're trying to figure out if I'm going to do that over lunch today, or if I can fit it in before lunch, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I have a segment on 5 compelling hybrid modeling patterns. This is going to be one of them. And the only question is where I fit it in, okay? But I will try to do it today if at all possible.
I'll be most grateful because this would be related to my
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, very good.
Can you please upload this?
Sure.
My thing crashed on me twice, and then
Really?
it just wasn't dead. There was no way I could catch up after that.
Okay,
But
that's
I was having
scary.
I was having issues with some of it. I think was I don't know with the GIS with the maps. Does it have to connect to the internet for that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I
You
I
weren't
think that-
connected.
I think
Yeah, I should have mentioned
I was having connection issues, and that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
That it just
We don't want to be there. Yeah.
it wouldn't load the map to start with, and then it threw me out.
Yeah.
And it threw me out again, and then it's just like, forget it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
screwed. It's just not-
totally understand. So, did you what was it that sort of died? Like, did
it's-
AnyLogic just crash?
Yeah, that's been happening like 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. It's
Really?
The only reason I've been able to keep up at all is the fact that I've done this so many times, and I can usually backtrack it. Like, I've been having a terrible time. I got to get my other computer. I've been trying to hold on to my old computer here to because I've just so that I only have to drag one around until I get everything switched over. But I'm going to go at lunchtime today quickly and get my other computer, and hopefully that will cooperate better, because it's very, very annoying to be partly, and I realize it does the autosave thing, but it takes so long to begin that it just
Yeah. No, I get it. So, okay, thanks for letting me know about that. We should talk. We should mention that to Jeff and to Scott as well,
Yeah,
because it's feedback.
It just really, and it's been, and I mean, my computer is fine. It's not like
Yeah.
I have other problems with other programs, but
Yeah.
no AnyLogic just, and I'm using like the university version, but it just craps out on me on a regular basis here lately. So
Wow, this is PLE or
the
university?
university edition.
And is it a 7.3?
It's 735. It's the most
735?
recent- Yeah, it's the most recent one. So.
Wow. Okay.
And I've got my support up to date and everything. It's not like, it's like I'm a paying member of the club. It's not like I'm
Right.
trying to do something with an old version or something. It's,
Right.
It's
Okay, that's a serious.
No, but anyway, it
things.
just that's sort of the only reason I kind of got behind on here.
Yep. Okay. No worries. Thank you very much for mentioning that, Cheryl. Well, we're trying to get a sense of different versions,
Yeah.
amongst other things for boot camps, but also for feedback. So that's really helpful. Yeah. Okay.
Chris, I checked out that video link, tiny-year-old, to the YouTube thing. There's no, what you can see through YouTube playlist is exactly the same.
Okay.
What was posted through the time.
Okay, so it's just not there.
It's just not there.
Okay, the next morning of the thing.
I think,
Okay.
didn't my brain's gone. Kurt, didn't Kurt present the GIS in Sydney?
You did a hybrid care-seeking model
And
in
then-
Sydney, and
and
then
the
in one
next day
day,
you added-
and then you added GIS the next morning.
Kurt did it, didn't he?
This is the latest Sydney.
Yeah,
So I was studying the care-seeking model last night. So
Yeah.
and it stopped right up until you set up the model in 500 by 500 space, and then he said tomorrow morning we're gonna put it all in GIS. And I was like, great, and I couldn't find the video. So I don't know if it was. I don't know if you taped it or recorded it or not, but
Yes, Kurt did it.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I've never, yeah, I couldn't find, it's certainly not up in, anything I could find.
yeah,
we
Kurt,
have.
Kurt certainly led the GIS there.
Yeah, and he may not have recorded it, or it may not have got recorded. Possibly, yeah.
So this
As
is
I-
a
it's
care
listed
seeking.
on there.
it's lost in the ether.
This is a care seeking model.
Yeah. The hybrid care-seeking model. And so Jeff gave me his copies of the
I've got given
version
him all the
2,
models
3,
built in
4.
class, so.
Oh yeah.
So all the progressive versions.
So I can try and back it out from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to record that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen this boot camp. That's the problem. But
You mean the conversion of that model to the?
yeah.
I mean, this is the same. This is very similar.
This is very similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
so this is fine.
I think you
It's
could
just-
search for a clinician's office.
The process of taking a model that was done outside GIS in 500 by 100 space and then changing it to GIS is the critical
Exactly.
piece.
Exactly.
And so
Yeah. But I think starting it in GIS would be the way to do that.
Okay.
Starting it. I mean, you can convert over, and in fact, Tina, who's not in the room right now, I think, but Tina, she's done that before.
Oh,
So
okay.
you might be interested with a care-seeking model involving HIV.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to talk with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Tina, yeah, she's kind of a soft-spoken woman right there. Okay, so you might want to talk with her.
Great.
She converted her HIV model to use that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have time for a general question? Or maybe
No, I got to figure out the next steps. Okay, I'm doing this live for this part. Okay.
This is a book.